Alright, I think it's a good time to do a video like this. Top 20 favorite Xbox 360 games. And at number 20, I went with Ninja Blade. This was a hack and slash game made by From Software, and I think it's really fun. I'm a huge fan of the hack and slash genre, so this game is right up my alley. There are a lot of QTEs, which could be hit and misses for most people, but for me, I was fine with it. Very fun game. Another incredible hack and slash game, but this one is even more brutal and bloody. It's X-Men Origins Wolverine, in an era where we got a lot of movie tie-ins and licensed games. Well, this is like the last generation that really did that. This was fantastic, way better than even the movie itself, and way better than it had any right to be. I don't see this talked about as one of the best Lord of the Rings games, but Lord of the Rings War in the North to me is a fantastic RPG in the series. I picked this game up years ago, and I was really blown away when I started playing it. It's very fun. The combat, like a lot of RPGs in that era, could be a bit janky at times, but the fun factor's there. Really, really enjoyed this one a lot. Being a huge comic book fan, Justice Gods Among Us was a big surprise because I remember when it was first shown, and people didn't even know what to make of the title. And then it turned out to be an alternate, the Elseworlds, just a DC game, and it's very awesome. This is one of them games where, since I didn't get the pleasure of playing the 360 era in its complete. So a lot of these games I played actually fairly recently, or via backwards compatible on modern Xbox consoles, and so you're gonna see a lot of that too. And yeah, and Injustice Gods Among Us was one of them. BioWare was really on fire in the 7th generation, and Dragon Age Origins is one of their top games. Very great story. Combat that it takes a little to get used to. Once you get used to it, it becomes very, very good. I don't really know what else to say that hasn't been said about a game like this. For many, this is one of BioWare's best games they've ever done in general, and I think this is usually considered the best in the Dragon Age series as well. Back to the hack and slashes, Castlevania Lords of Shadows. Awesome game, very awesome game. Played it via backwards compatibility on the Xbox One. And again, I was really blown away by how great the game was. It has its difficulty, you know what I'm saying? It's not an easy game, but that's okay, you know what I'm saying? If people could enjoy the Souls-like, and they're notoriously could be difficult for the average person. This game I think is more fun than that genre, and just really did enjoy it. So that's Castlevania Lords of Shadows. My favorite Simpsons game of all time, the Simpsons Game. It was a movie tie-in for the 2007 Simpsons movie that I loved. Saw it in theaters at the time. And this game is really, like, the art style captures the Simpsons perfectly. It was very funny, has a great final boss, and everything, man. I think the Simpsons Game is a truly excellent game. Yeah, I do love it more than Hit and Run and Road Rage. I think that this is the best Simpsons game you could get. And also another thing that was cool, each version of the Simpsons game had a different cover. So if you had the PS3 version, it'll look different than this. Or if you had, I think it's the Nintendo Wii version, that'll be different from these two. It was kind of creative. I never seen another game have different types of covers like the Simpsons game did. So, Remember Me came out in, I think, 2014. By then, that generation of consoles that's ready came out. So this game, ironically, got forgotten. But this game has always been on my radar. Um, and so when I decided so when I got the Xbox 360 again some years ago, and I started to jump back into into the retro gaming stuff. This was one of the first Xbox 360 games I had to get my hands on. Because I remember seeing the gameplay of someone who I watched play some of it, and I was blown away. The music is great. You play as Nilin and Neo Paris, and it's an excellent action adventure game. Shame it didn't do well, so there's 0% chance you ever get a sequel. But yeah, Remember Me is going to be a game I remember. More games I played thanks to Xbox backwards compatibility. The Divinity 2, the Dragon Knight Saga, which I never even heard of this game until one day, you see where they used to put out the list of, hey, this game just hit backwards compatibility. And I'm like, what is this? Well, I never heard of Divinity 2. And then you come to find out, it was made by Larian Studios, by the way, the same developers that did the turn-based version, Divinity 2 Original Sin on the Xbox One, and Baldur's Gate 3 on the Series X. And this one, though, is action-adventure, real-time combat, not turn-based, and I still think is absolutely fantastic. Again, during this era, a lot of RPGs were pretty much doing their best to be, say, Skyrim or Oblivion clones, right? Or at least the games took a lot of inspiration from those Bethesda RPGs at the time, and this one is one of them. So you kind of see that in the combat, but instead of first person, it's third person. You could turn into a dragon. Really cool stuff. And with the Dragon Knight Saga specifically, it comes with the 2 expansions on disc. So this is the one that you'd want to get if you want to try out you're going to get the full, the full set. Awesome RPG. Way better than I had any right to be, and for a game that I had no clue even existed until like 2020 or something like that. I'm surprised how good it was. So, Assassin's Creed is probably my all-time favorite video game series, and on the 360, Assassin's Creed 3, I would go ahead and say is my favorite one of those. Now, here's the thing. First of all, a lot of these games got remastered on the current gen consoles, so you could play them in 4K 60 and 60 FPS and all that other stuff. So I actually recommend those versions in the older ones, but yeah, I had to give some love to Assassin's Creed 3. Love Connor, hate them, love their interactions towards the end. And while everybody would probably put Assassin's Creed 2 as the best one, I really enjoyed this one in the 360 as terms of the 360 ones. And here's another hot take. I actually like the modern Assassin's Creeds more than the 360 era. Lollipop Chainsaw. So I was aware of this game long before I played it. But when you're broke, like I was during the 360 era, and you couldn't afford much games, you just had to enjoy it secondhand, basically. But so when I was finally able to get the game, yeah, I fell in love with it. You play as Juliet here, awesome, amazing hack and slash beat 'em up style game. I think this is the one where James Gunn was working on it too. But yeah, this is one of them. As you see, RPGs and hack and slash games and open world games. Yeah, those are pretty much the games that tend to click with me the most. And this was one of them. Absolutely fantastic. And they've got the remaster coming out soon. Next up, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2. Again, along with hack and slashes and RPGs and all that, superhero games. Superhero games are another set of games I'm always playing, always loved. And here's the thing. When I first got the 360, This was bundled with it. This and I believe Forza. I think one of the Forza games was bundled with it, right? So I actually played. So this was the first game I ever played on the 360, way back in I think late 2006, or early 2007. Around that time, this was bundled with it. I think it was late 2006, right? So I loved it. And then a few years later, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 come out. And fun fact, this was the first game I ever pre-ordered. And for the record, these are not the original copies that I owned at the time. I actually lost my original 360 collection at one point, which is another reason why you're noticing I'm saying I played a lot of these games recently. Because, yeah, unfortunately, I missed this generation due to not being able to afford games 1 and 2 when my 360 got stolen and damaged and all this other shit that happened to it. I wasn't able to rebuild it until way later. So yeah, Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2, love both of them. This one is 2 is more straightforward, and Ultimate Alliance is kind of more of they both got that top-down Diablo-like camera perspective. Both do great job being in the world of Marvel itself, and this was a great era of Marvel, if you ask me. I know in 2 you went to Wakanda, which was beautiful, and in 1 you went to, I think, places like Valhalla, which was also beautiful. So yeah, these are just unbelievably excellent games. Fable 2, excellent RPG, and this is one of the games where I somehow didn't play it back in the day, but I did via backwards compatibility. And yeah, it's an amazing game. You can't go wrong with Fable. I can't wait for the reboot that's coming out next year. And it's because of games like this, which the level of freedom this game had at the time was almost unmatched, really. And the stuff you could do, this game was doing stuff like Good and Evil before that was popular and everything. So yeah, Fable 2 was a fantastic game. Here, the best version of Ninja Gaiden is the Xbox 360 and Ninja Gaiden 2. And I don't know what to say about this game. It's everything you want in a hack and slash. It's a classic, all-timer, if you ask me. Couldn't be hard as hell, but all the Ninja games had that sense of difficulty and a lot of bosses and a lot of stuff. And yeah, this game was just so fun, and similar to X-Men Origins Wolverine, it's bloody, it's violent, it doesn't shy away from any gore, and I love it for that, I love it for that, I love when games don't censor themselves and sometimes take itself a little too seriously. And Ninja Gaiden's one of them games, man. Which is some of the best combat you'll ever play in a video game. This is peak hack and slash greatness right here. Ninja Gaiden 2 was phenomenal. And I love his Itagaki. Came back on stage. So we're making Ninja Gaiden 4 exclusive to the Xbox. Man. Batman Arkham Origins. So yeah, this is an interesting one. Here's the fun fact. I played all the Batman games on Xbox One or Xbox Series X, and I played Batman Arkham Asylum and Arkham City were the remasters, so I don't count them as 360 games. I don't count remasters as 360 games. And Batman Arkham Origins was never remastered, but it is backwards compatible on Xbox consoles, and the game is brilliant. Now, this Batman game, if you ask me, had the best boss battles in it in the whole series. Like, the Deathstroke one is probably the most notorious, but all of them were just fantastic. The DLC, the Cold Heart DLC, I think it's called, was excellent with Mr. Freeze. Batman Arkham Origins is getting love now, but at the time it was hated, and playing it, I just don't understand. This This is top five in my this is top five in my favorite 360 games ever. That's how excellent I think Arkham Origins is, man. And I don't know why this one was the hated one. The Gears of War trilogy was revolutionary. Gears of War 1 was a revolutionary game. If you wondered why so many games were cover shooters, especially third-person shooters were cover shooters, it's because Gears won. But I went with Gears 3 as my favorite in that generation, right? This was the culmination of the original trilogy. It had the infamous moment with Dom, Sacrifice, and this was when the game, by then the gameplay was just spectacular. Everything worked. The story was excellent. So yeah, you can't go wrong with any of them. Gears 1, 2, and 3 were all spectacular games. I went Gears 3 as my favorite. Number 4 on my list of favorite Xbox 360 games of all time. At number 3, Alice Madness Returns. This is a game that I played via backwards compatibility, and it's got to be my favorite platformer ever. This game shocked the hell out of me. Now, it's a darker take on the Alice in Wonderland, and it really works. It's like a playable version of the Tim Burton movies. Hell, I think it's better than the Tim Burton movies, which I actually enjoyed the Tim Burton Alice movies, and that dark gothic style he went with. But this game, my goodness, it's spectacular. It's truly spectacular, and as you can see, I never actually didn't know this until now. It's not in its original case. Now I bought this second hand, so and I never noticed the NBA sticker here until now. That's funny actually, but yeah, Alice Madness Returns is oh man, wonderful game. My third favorite Xbox 360 game, and thanks to backwards compatibility, I was able to play it right. Because again, this like some of the other games, I didn't even know this game existed until I saw it was backwards compatible. Saw the game looked interesting and gave it a try, and boom, here it is, a spectacular game. At number 2, Kingdom of Amular's Reckoning. This is one of the greatest RPG games I've ever played. And as you see, the 360 version, I got that in that Xbox One case. Because again, like Alice Madness Returns and a number of other games, I played it on the Xbox One. So thank you, backwards compatibility, because you had me realize like half of my favorite games on this list are backwards. I played on backwards compatibility, it seems like, man, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, Kingdom of Amular's Reckoning. Oh man, what can I say about this game? The gameplay is excellent. The story is really fun. The graphics are very colorful and unique, and this is a game where I was stunned how brilliant this game was. And it's a shame that the original developer went under, but it was picked up by THQ Nordic and they put out a remaster some years ago, right? Can't stop. It put out a remaster some years ago. But yeah, I played this version first, loved it. To say I can't put into words how much I love this one, right? That's the reason why it's my second favorite Xbox 360 game of all time. Cause it's that damn good, guys. Don't pass it up if you're an RPG fan. You're gonna probably be blown away. And I wish we got more fancy RPGs that felt like this and played like this. And I'm hoping a game like Avowed hits that itch that this one does. Excellent, unbelievably spectacular game that didn't do well at the time. And number 1, I don't think there's really any other option. It's the Mass Effect trilogy. And yeah, I'm one of those people who can't separate either one. It's kind of like one long continuous game to me. Mass Effect is the greatest trilogy in gaming history, and yeah, all of them are fantastic. I played it as adept in all 3 of them and loved it. Loved every second of it. Couldn't get enough of the lore after I played these games, and they really are a masterpiece of gaming. And peak BioWare, really. And I know Mass Effect 3 had controversy with the ending, which funny enough, the Mass Effect 3, the ending was actually how I got into Mass Effect. You know what I'm saying? Because I saw everybody complaining about it so much. I'm like, what is Mass Effect? And this was around 2012, right? And I remember I bought all 3 games, borrowed my brother's Xbox 360, and played them back to back to back. And you know, and then I was like, oh my goodness, this is the greatest things I've ever played. You know what I'm saying? So the Mass Effect trilogy, I don't know if there's any other choice of my number 1 favorite Xbox 360 game. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your guys' favorite is of all time. And I am out.